Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. All right, this is Nama of the DC camp, and for this video, it's been a few months since I visited this site. This is Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie. All right, and he has some good videos. All right, to include this one I'm about to do. And in this video, you have a couple of lowlifes down here, husband and wife. The husband used to be a deputy sheriff in the town that they're in. She's a school teacher. So what these low-life Edomites did, wow, you have to wonder, with all the things that Jake was accused of, little to nothing, especially compared with this. Our people were lynched and all kinds of atrocities, maybe just for looking at a cave bitch, all right? By comparison to what these people did, you have to wonder why they weren't toe tagged before the sun went down that day. Just saying. Not advocating anybody do anything. Just gotta ask that question. But that goes towards the hate that these devils have for our people. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and roll this. It says teacher laced cupcakes with husband's special fluid. Here we go.
Most perverted and disgusting teacher and cop you will ever see in your natural life. Let's put up a mug shot. She's pleaded guilty because she's a monster. What did this teacher do? She has pleaded guilty to disturbing child sex crimes, including lacing cupcakes with her husband's sperm, and he was down with it, by the way, before feeding them to her students. That's the husband.
Students, children.
A former deputy sheriff. Cynthia Perkins, let's go back to her. Cynthia Perkins, 36 years of age, is facing 41 years in prison after taking a plea deal on Monday in exchange for testifying against her now ex-husband, Dennis Perkins. This has a long and twisted, dark history. Mr. Perkins, the deputy sheriff, was working at the Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office, all right, at the time of his arrest. The Louisiana woman initially protested her innocence to 72 charges for various sex crimes, yet this week pleaded guilty to producing child pornography, second-degree rape, and mingling harmful substances. The charge about harmful substances allegedly refers to an incident in which this sick woman used her husband's sperm to season pastries for Westside Junior High School students.
That's some sick ass shit.
I know this story is a hard story to listen to. I'm highlighting this story because parents in particular, we need to always be reminded that real monsters exist in the world. These are two of them. The story gets even deeper. These three we thought were representative of what she had done, and by agreeing to the facts as we put them out on record, she prepared herself to testify against Dennis Perkins. That's according to the Assistant Louisiana Attorney General, Barry Milligan. Barry said that on Monday. Cynthia and Dennis Perkins were arrested in October 2019. They faced 150 felony charges, including rape, child pornography, sexual battery of a child, and video voyeurism.
And I have to say, I'm going to pause it real quick because this says October 2019. Me personally, this is the first time hearing about this. I don't know about anybody else. Maybe I'm just late to the party or whatever have you. But you can't help but notice, all right, when Jake does something, and in comparison to this, I mean, but it's broadcast all over. All right, you should know that by now. Anyone that doubts that, all right, I don't know what world you're living in. All right. But yeah, you have to wonder, why isn't there a mob out there trying to get at them? Children, 12, 13, well, by Esau standards, 12 and 13 years old. And you're going to hear how many. Hold on.
There were also charges related to a dog, according to Daily Star. So Cynthia files for divorce. So you have the wife, she files for divorce and resigned from her role as a high school teacher. They allowed her to resign rather than making an example of her. She claimed she was manipulated by her then husband to commit
Of
a
course.
horrible crime. Oh, I'm the victim here, was her story. WBRZ reports Dennis Perkins was fired from the sheriff's department after the charges were brought. Now remember, they were under investigation, then the charges hit, and that's when they started losing and resigning from their jobs. So Cynthia Perkins was scheduled to face a trial by jury on Monday, which means the victims, these minors, which by the way are under 13 years of age, would have had to testify in the court of law. She was facing 72 years in prison. However, 68 of the remaining charges against her were dropped when she took a plea deal. She was given 40 years for second-degree rape, 30 years for concurrent 30 years concurrent for sex crimes involving a juvenile under 13. That horrible human being will die in prison.
If you ever feel like this is it,
Commercial,
this isn't
Salaki.
going anywhere, and all you want is the word
Golly.
you're using
Sperm-laced cupcakes. Incident hit her with 1 year sentence, all right? She got 1 year for that one. She has no possibility of parole after taking the deal, according to the Attorney General of the state.
So she had to allocute that shit.
He said, and I quote, today, Cynthia Perkins admitted to her crimes and pled guilty in court. The AG further noted, she not only waived any right to appeal and attempt to avoid conviction, but she also spared the victims, talking about the children, from reliving her horrific crime during this particular trial. Conviction is in the best interest of our victims and justice. We look forward to holding Dennis Perkins, the cop, accountable for his crimes in the very near future, because
See, it doesn't give you the demographic, if you will, of who's who and, like 12 and 13 years old. All right, so we may never know, but I'd be interested in seeing if they did this because they were all Edomites, spared them from going to trial to relive. Yeah. Anyway.
Perkins has pleaded not guilty, which means if he goes to trial and his wife has already agreed to testify against him, his ex-wife, he goes to trial, those children, by law, they have to take the stand because he has a constitutional right
Exactly.
to approach those that accuse him. Yet they eventually agreed to a deal, which was also okayed by the victim's family, talking about the ex-wife. They feel that this serves justice and better protects their children, said the Attorney General.
Yeah, protect their children.
If the victim's family, if they are okay with this, that's cool. You always look to that, okay? Now, let's keep it all the way 100. Routinely, individuals who are monsters and perverts against our children in particular, they seek opportunities to affix their lives around children. They also look for opportunities to have public trust, so that if there's an accusation against them, people in the community will say, oh, no, never that person. I mean, that's an upstanding deputy sheriff.
And you see that in the news where you have, incidents that happen out in the burbs, and they'll interview neighbors, and they say, well, I'm so surprised that it happened out here. But these mother efforts, you have to know that for those of you that are familiar with the scriptures, you know who they are. They are Edom. They are the border of wickedness. All right, they are the wicked. But you have to know that the dark nations chase these motherfuckers up into the Caucasus for these very reasons. When we go to Job here, it's going to tell you that. All right. And Job makes it clear that he didn't even want his dogs around these mother effers, so-called white people. This is Job. I will start at the top for this one. This is Job 30 and 1. This is how they came to be uh, associated with the Caucasus Mountains, because they were driven up there between the Black and Caspian Seas with that bottleneck, and it goes up. And that area is in the news today, where you have uh, Ukraine and Kiev and all that, and go further north. Yeah, that's that same area. It says, but now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs in my flock. Because what is Esau, the so-called white man, known for doing? It's called bestiality. All right? Yea, I'm serious. You will have some farmlands in the U.S. and other places. Is it down in Florida? Where it it's down in Florida, where it tells you you have to have signs posted to remind these motherfuckers not to molest the alligators. Yes, you heard right. 2, yea, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished? For want and famine they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness in former time, desolate and waste, who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat. Think, what is it, quest for fire. These are these motherfuckers. 5, they were driven forth from among men. Remember what I told you. They cried after them as after a thief. You dirty low down, blah, 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 blank. 6, to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys and caves of the earth and in the rocks. 7, among the bushes they brayed. Under the nettles they were gathered together. They were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. Let's go into that. All right? They are fools. You have to be a fool. Look at the state of the earth. Here it is. You have been in stewardship for, good 500 years. In other words, you have had the rule. You took it by force. That was the prophecy, all right? In Genesis 27, this is how you would acquire the best of everything, the fatness of the earth, all right? Genesis 27, 38 through 41, all right? Of base men, let's go into that, because they are base. This is Shum, all right? Yeah, and they are base, infamous, all right? Let's see, they lack honor and all that. Anyway, let's go back to viler. All right, Strong's H 5217, nakah, to scourge, strike, smite. All right, let's see, a root of uncertain authority is a verb. All right, tapped it. Let's see if they got any more down here. Let's see, and it tells you there, Job 30 and 8. But you can tell that Esau has been messing with this, because this is not what it used to say. Let's go. See, we tell you this is why you got to watch these devils, all right? Let's go to vile. All right. As an adjective, extremely unpleasant, morally bad, wicked. Everything goes here. And people, when you talk about that wine, his philosophy, his doctrine, that is his so-called democracy that's spread across the world, everybody's sick of that shit, because they see what? As it says here, it's morally bad, it's wicked, of little worth or value. At the end of the day, that's what this so-called white man is. He only knows how to destroy, to kill, corrupt. All right? Children, man. Children. Back to the
That's
video.
an award-winning school teacher.
Was.
All along.
Yep.
And let's be real. They have the.
And you notice something. Let me get this out of the way real quick, because they. How am I going to say this? Everything's turned upside down. They'll put on this front. You notice their neighborhoods all neatly trimmed and every little thing in its place. And if you've ever known anybody or worked in a place that has, like where you have condos and things of that nature, and you have the, what is it called? It's an association. You have to pay like a fee. I mean, but on the inside, these motherfuckers are some wicked, but they project that outward image, and they've done that all over the world, you know. But people see what they're really about. All right, continuing on.
Complexion for protection. According to the narrative, they've been doing this for years and getting away with it. They're sick, and what they're getting, they don't deserve. They don't deserve
No, they don't.
the light sentencing of life in prison
Yep.
or to die behind bars.
Yep.
The way they victimize children.
Or out in the courtyard like they used
Now,
to do our
these
people.
victims, they're going to have to go through counseling, years of torment, years of pain. I'm hopeful that whatever comes out of this, as it relates to a settlement, as it relates to a lawsuit, that they are able to get the wraparound services they need because they were victimized by these two individuals who were paid by taxpayers. David, what are your thoughts about this case?
I'm just horrified, and you took the words, I mean, literally. My concern is, look, clearly these are monsters. Clearly these are despicable people. I hope they are locked up. I agree that this seems like a light sentence. My concern in hearing this is for the kids.
Yeah.
I mean, what is Louisiana, which is not known for being particularly good and trying to provide counseling and trying to help victims of crime, particularly if they're minorities?
Thank you.
What are they doing for these kids to try to help them? I mean, that's where all of the focus and the resources in Louisiana should be. Throw away the key on these two jerks. But the kids, I mean, what are you doing to talk to them? How are you explaining this to them? What are you doing to make them somehow feel better? And again, I'm shocked also, just 1 year for the cupcake? I mean, can you imagine if a kid...
Yeah, 1 year. That is, yeah, for the cupcake. And like I said, clearly, if these were Jakes, they would have been run out on a rail. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. Especially in Louisiana. In fact, isn't that where that movie some years ago with George Clooney, How Art Thou? Oh shit, Oh Brother, How Art Thou? Some shit like that. It was funny as shit. But they did that to a guy toward the end. Ran him out on a rail. Usually it involves tarring and feathering too. But in any case, yeah, here it is. These pieces of shit, they always, see, you have to understand too, Jake, we also act as a buffer because so much focus is on us for petty shit by comparison. Nobody's looking at these. Remember I mentioned the neighborhoods, how pristine they pretend to like them, you know, always concerned about property value and all that. But how much incest and molestation and all these other things go on there that are kept hush-hush for sake of the family and its image. But everybody's worried about crime in the inner city. Hey, so once again, I hope whoever views this is edified. This is more reason why you should want to get the fuck up out of this place. All right, it's wicked. This is our punishment. Hopefully, hey, but you know what? You got Jake that wants to stay here, so they can have a good job because they can't see. You know, so fuck them. Hey, so with that, hey, shalom.